SG Reads.
Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be doing an analog horror that was requested to me by the creator himself, Kakav. I believe that's his name, sorry if I'm getting it wrong. But he wanted me to do this, and in return I say to you, happy birthday. I wish you the best, and I'm really excited to get into this video. Thanks again for making it, and I hope you have a great day. And with that being said, this was an interesting one, and I could tell that this is just the build-up to something bigger later on in the future. I do think that it has a lot of promise, and it does have some intriguing moments into it. So for now, let's get into it. But before we start, please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it, and let's get started, shall we? Alright, chapter 1 starts off with more of a monologue, if you will, from a mysterious character that we have come to know later on, and that they are frustrated with a certain person or with a group of people. At this point, it seems like it's a group of people that promised them something. We don't know what exactly, but we do know that it did promise something. So for now, they are just saying that it's going to go look for its own way out, or it's going to look for a way to fulfill the promise in and of itself. With that, we end with there. And then it says you can't be saved, as for chapter 2, which is more of an instruction guide of what to do when you come into contact with this entity. We're going to go with the idea that it is going place to place and attacking people. Maybe for a specific reason, but for not. But for some reason, somebody felt the need to put this together in an attempt to kind of save whoever else. Chapter 3, we get this idea that it is a person who does not quite fully understand what is happening. They are a skeleton-like being, but for the most part, they seem to not really comprehend what is happening around them. Hence what happened to me. Then we go to chapter 4, which is a meeting between two men who are constantly going back and forth about the events that are currently happening to them. About chapter 2's video, about the instruction guide, and of course, meeting together at a mall, saying that they need to talk about events that have happened or that was currently going on around them. We then go to chapter 5, where it talked about 5 people have been missing. And in this one, we know that 6 people have to be found for this thing to be satisfied. Now, we know that it is, number 1 would be Laggy, our main type of video, who we're going to assume is the main person of this series, along with Louise as number 3, Goob, number 2. We don't really know number 4, but it ends at that point before showing us this rocket ship, suggesting that what we know or what they were talking to was an alien creature. We don't really have specifics for that, but we can pretty much assume that it's an alien considering they name it after an alien. And then finally, chapter 6, suggesting that Laggy, or at least someone looking for Laggy, has escaped. They have managed to get out and leave this creature behind, calling it a demon, but we don't really know that for a fact that that's what it is, just that he calls it my demon. So for now we know that he got away and that he does not want to go back, and he's not going to go back by any means necessary. And we know, and we're not sure, but we do suggest that something happened to him at the very end of this video. And with that, we know that the project itself can't be satisfied without the 6 of them, and ends up leaving from there, with a light thank you to us from the creator for viewing these videos. But then we get a surprise character at the very end with 6 eyes, leading into season 2, where somebody else is making another set of videos of the Laggy tapes, but this time it is about the 6-eyed creature that we saw in the last one of this one. And from there, we can pretty much assume he's going to be our next antagonist. But he might also be this antagonist, finally realizing his purpose. Now, we'll stop for there. Now, our main narrator seems to not be Laggy, but rather they seem to be looking for Laggy. Hence, these are dedicated to them, or an attempt to get their attention. For now, we'll have to say that our protagonist is Goob, with what information we've gotten, because that's one of the only names we've gotten right next to Louise, along with a question mark, and the 2 men talking. So we do know that the 2 men are not involved in this, because they're not even named, and they might not have even been captured by this creature. So for now, the one we do know, who does seem to have some sort of bigger aspect in this storyline, is Goob. Mainly because he is the one that is named, as I said before, and it's said that he may have hurt somebody, which we do see at the very end of the 6th video, suggesting that it was this creature that he attacked. Now, we don't really know much from that point on. So, with that being said, we had to go with that he is the one making these tapes. That he put out the instruction video on what to do for his friends not to get captured, and while at the same time is looking for Laggy in an attempt throughout these tapes to kind of connect with them in a certain way. And at the same time, he's keeping this record of this creature to know that it is real and that he is coming. Now, as for what the creature is, we will talk about in a minute, but I can say with confidence that the one who is narrating and the main actor in this series would have to be Goob, because he's the only one I can actually see being this creature. And what we see in the skeleton creature is not him, but rather our third missing person, or should I say fourth, the question mark person. But for now, we'll leave that for another time. Now, my main objective in this, what was the creature? I do like a good creature in these kind of analog videos. Sometimes you can tell right away what they are, sometimes you can't. And in this situation, it's very enigmatic, if you will, in a sense that it doesn't really tell you. It gives you hints that it might be alien, but it doesn't feel like alien in the first few bits. This feels more like an AI system that has gone off on a rogue tangent. It feels like it is its own creature, that it is something that was put together by these 6 people that were working together on a project. It promised them or gained some sort of sentience, and they promised it something. And at the end of the day, they got frightened by it, didn't want to provide it, and ultimately tried to shut it down. But even though they shut down whatever it was that it was holding in, it didn't go away. It was just there in the darkness, hence why the first video in itself is mainly in the dark. Hence that this is what he's seeing, this is what he's experiencing. So, from what I could gather is that this is an intelligent creature of some kind, whether it be I want to say an AI kind of thing. Mainly because it feels like it's trying to escape, trying to go out into the world. And that's kind of what we see at the end of the last chapter, that this creature was looking for these people in an attempt to kind of make an appearance in the real world of a way. Building something that seemed like a rocket, but we don't know for a fact it was a rocket as a matter of fact. It may have just been trying to build some sort of monument or scraper, or even trying to build a body, and that was just what its base form looked like. But for the most part, I have to stick with that idea until I have more information about it later on. I mean, it could just be an alien that has made contact with them, and they promised to set it up an area or a place for it to stay, until they found out it didn't have the best intentions. And this thing, being angry, decided to strike back at them for not being able to supply it with what they promised it. And now is attacking them one by one, but was only able to get at least 4 as far as we know. As for the skeleton creature that we see in chapter 3, it has to be one of the 4 people that were captured. We don't know where Laggy is, but I don't think that this is them. This feels more like the person number 4, the one left with a question mark, mainly because it doesn't remember who it is or what it's doing. It doesn't even remember how it got there. All that it knows is that the main demon-like creature got into its mind, and now it's being toyed with from this point on, and saying that it's trying to do that with all of them, all 6 of them. And we don't know that the 2 men managed to be captured in chapter 4, but for the most part we do know that for a fact that this one was captured, because he does say it got in my mind. So he is clearly one of the victims of this series. What happened to him, we still do not know that for a fact, but we can say that it wasn't good, and he is trapped in some sort of digital space. If my theory is right, he's trapped in some sort of computer or trapped online somewhere. If it's more of an alien thing, he's trapped on a ship where he's being experimented on. But for right now, we leave it with that he is indeed the 4th victim of this demon creature. Now, this is usually the part where I talk about what's next. Well, for the 8 to 10 minute video series that this has been, it did give me a lot to think about, which is very well done. You did manage to pack a lot of information in this, which is very good, because there have been a lot of analogs where they just keep repeating the same information over and over again, but we seem to be moving at a good pace here. So, with what we got and what we see in Season 2, I would have to say that this creature did not die, or it's not gone. In fact, I think it has achieved its goal. We don't really know what happened to the two men in Chapter 4, but we can assume that it has at least gotten into the minds of the other 4 people. So for now, it seems to have achieved its own goal in a way, and has made its way out into the world in its own form. Hence that creature we saw at the ending of the first season. Now, whether it is putting these videos together for us to see, to get into our minds at this point, is something I think would be very foreseeable, because it feels like that's about right. Like I said, the one who made these videos would have to be the person we saw back in Chapter 5, Goob. But, for the most part, I think the one who's putting them out, sending them out to people, would have to be this creature using what he did from the other 4. We do know that these tapes are made for Laggy, but we don't really know the fate of them. And the body that this creature is using might be that person that was originally meant for these tapes. So for the most part, I would have to say that that would be the next set. A whole new set of people following this kind of cryptid-like creature that has succeeded in its first mission. Whether it be an alien or AI, it seems to have succeeded in some way, getting and toying with the minds of the ones that either created it or brought it to us. So that's what I would have to say is next to see, so on and so forth. Or, very easily, it could be about the 2 men that we really don't know about and are still pretty much in the real world and not captured by the creature. All in all, this is a fine series. It does have its faults, not big ones. I think the storytelling is very well done, does leave a lot to the imagination, and allows an open-ended idea for future progress. I do think that it could take a variety of different directions and still be really good. The only things I would have to say is that the grammar seems a bit off, but that's fixable later on in the future, along with certain features, I would have to say, such as pacing is good, the stink drawings and the way you depict them, while not entirely scary, does add to the charm of it, gives it its own flair, gives it its own tone. Not really trying to be scary, but more trying to be unique. And I can respect that, because it's very fun and adds a whole new element to it. Something we haven't really seen in other analog horrors, but are trying to be scary, or trying to be overly scary, if you will. So, for the most part, I like to think that this is a unique analog series that has its own tone and way of going about it, and that it does have its scarier moments, but at the same time, it does have a way of making a storyline that does keep you invested for the most part. It's very well done, very interesting, and I can't wait to see more along the way, along with some advancements, because, as I've seen in the second season first video, the quality of video has improved quite a bit from the very first video. So, with that being said, I will say that this is very good. You should check out the original creator. I'll leave it down in the comment section and in the description where you can watch these videos if you want to check it out for yourself, and let me know your opinion. I think this does have a lot of promise of being something good, or at least building up to something incredible. This is a good starting point, not saying that it is perfect, but that it's a good starting point and that can be something along the way, with small flaws in there that aren't that big, but I know some people like to nitpick. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. And once again, thank you so much, Kakav, for asking me to review the series. It was very interesting, very good. And I do wish you again a happy birthday and good luck with whatever else you do. And I can't wait to see what the series lies ahead. Thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. See ya.